What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Plus at a Time here on Project Dits. My name, as always, is Nathan. You are Darragh.
I still am,
Yeah.
Nathan.
We don't have an intro. It's we haven't thought one, so if you've got an idea for one, please tweet at Project Dits.
Please, we are so desperate.
We're so desperate for it. I feel like the intro makes it all about me every time. And then I have to be like, oh, Darragh's here, but Darragh's here every week.
Hello.
So another week has gone by, a mixed week for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Good week for United, kind of.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But how are you, more importantly?
Good. Well, Nathan, I've just had a takeaway. I'm just filled to the guts after scoffing down on the chips, but the fish and chips. But this is
The actual
important.
fish and chips?
As opposed to what? What?
Like, when people say, oh, we're going to a chip shop, but then they get like a battered sausage or something instead.
No, cod. Yes, cod and chips.
Cod and chips. Oh, locally sourced?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't ask the fish, if I'm being honest.
Is that where you're from?
I didn't want to get to know it, I'm sure
it
it was
like
a
it's
lovely
still
guy.
a head on, like he just handed you fish.
Talking into the body. To be honest, I only like you as a friend. Let's get this over with. But no, it was nice. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Jesus.
The wait was a bit long, but busy time.
It is a busy time. The world is slowly unlocking again, but football keeps on trucking along. Let's get the serious football talk out of the way early.
It's just trudging along.
It's still going. Games come thick and fast, as the cliche goes. But let's start with the weekend. Liverpool facing Arsenal. On paper, that's a difficult game. In practice,
What paper are you looking at when you say that?
One from 2004.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. bit outsourced, but yeah.
Because it was at the Emirates, wasn't it?
Yep. It's only our third ever win at the Emirates.
Jesus,
Which, when you think about some of the just horrific teams Arsenal have had, especially in the post-Wenger era, we just always draw at the Emirates.
Shamak.
Janilson and Shamak.
He was Shamak, and that Asian player that they signed.
Park Chu-young, was it?
Something like that. And then we were told he was going to be the best player in the planet. And then he just never... I don't know if he ever played. He real Ben Davies to his Arsenal career.
Speaking about it, obviously at the weekend, Chelsea conceded 5, didn't they, against West Brom? And the last time they conceded 5 was against that Arsenal team. That 2011-12 Arsenal team. That had Alex Song, Robin Van Persie, and just a load of just others.
And then just... I can't even name anyone.
Andre Santos scored in the day. Remember him?
Vaguely, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was like a Brazilian fullback. I don't know where he came from. I don't know where he went. Get in touch, Andre. We miss you.
But back to 2021 before we descend back into the early
Apologies.
2010s. On paper, as we say, Arsenal always look good. In practice, I don't want to take away from the way Liverpool played. I don't just want to be that guy that goes, oh, well, Arsenal was shit, so Liverpool got an easy win. But Arsenal was shit and Liverpool got a really easy win.
I was kind of watching it, and we were sort of like, we were pretty good, but we weren't like, I don't think we were like incredible or anything. And the longer the game went on, we didn't score. I don't think we scored until it was after Diogo came on, obviously. But I sort of felt like Arsenal were going to nick it, but that's purely based off just how we've been this entire season. Absolutely nothing to do with Arsenal, and they created absolutely nothing in the game.
Literally, when it comes to the first half, Arsenal had no shots
At home.
And that's not... I remember, just like this podcast always does, let's drag it back to the early 2010s.
Christian Daly.
Remember we played Norwich once, and this is still under Fergie, and Norwich had no shots until like the 80th minute, like absolutely none. And Arsenal looked no better than Norwich did on that day. In fact, I would say Norwich now are a better side than Arsenal now.
Did they win was it 7 or 8-0 at the weekend?
I think they won 7-0 at the weekend against Huddersfield.
Yeah. But like I remember, like obviously I knew Aubameyang had a haircut, but I didn't like actually
Oh my!
remember seeing
Have
it
you
in the
seen
game.
it? It looks like a guy who cannot like
I,
fathom the fact he's lost his hair, and it's holding on to it.
you know, Steve Buscemi with the skateboard. Hey, fellow kids, like Pierre, you're like 32. What are
He
you
looks
doing?
rough, doesn't he?
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like
He's dreadlocked his his hair. No, he's like cornrowed it, hasn't he? He's cornrowed his hair, but he doesn't have a lot of hair. So,
look it up. That's the
yeah,
best advice I can give. But yeah, we were pretty good. You know, we had 3 weeks off, obviously, because the internationals and it was the FA Cup weekend before the internationals, wasn't it? So we had 3 weeks off. Trent had been left at home, like in that movie Home Alone. Three,
apparently.
Home Alone 3, great, my favorite
Oh Jesus!
of the however many they made, and it was just kind of good. Yeah, Diogo came on. Andy Robertson got a rest for the first time ever, and we switched to the 4-2-3-1 that I think we've only ever used once at the Etihad, and it was at the Etihad we used it when he played Diogo, Mane, Firmino, and Salah all on the same pitch. And Bobby, when he went reverted back to the 10, just looked like so much of a better player, such a better player. So he
He's
wasn't
not a
like relying
striker.
each. Yeah,
He's in
he
no
isn't it?
way, shape, or form. He's a great player, but I'd hate to kind of have him in our squad if he played striker. He would frustrate the hell out of me
Yeah,
because he just
yeah.
doesn't score like enough. He does score, obviously.
even like Bobby's been one of my favorite players over the last few years, but everyone's saying, "Oh, it's just because he's not scoring as much." It's honest, he doesn't feel like the same player, and it's sort of it's ever since I'd say around. Do you remember in January 2020 when we bet you at Anfield, but when Van Dijk went up and contested De Gea for that ball,
Mm.
and then Bobby is the one who actually scores in the lead up to it. It seems like ever since then, it's just been like a slow decline, as if his confidence just burst that night in January 2020.
It is weird. Like I know, I don't think it's unfair for people to say, "Oh, it's just because he's not scoring as much," because he is up front all the time.
That's
So
true
that
as
is a
well.
problem. And when you're up front, you're obviously meant to be the goal getter. Not so much these days. Like obviously, 'cause wingers are expected to score like 20 goals a season. But still, it must be tough. But Arsenal, on the other hand,
Yeah, I mean the
just
best thing for me of the whole match was Allison's mustache.
yeah, now it's gone.
Yeah, he only had it for like what, like 2 or 3 weeks, and according to I think it was like his wife's Instagram story, allegedly do I have to say allegedly? I don't think I have to say allegedly.
I don't think we're
It
gonna get arrested over a moustache.
it looks to me that it's been shaved off, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day for everyone involved
Do you
with the
think
club.
she made him do it, or do you think he got fed up with it?
I don't know.
Because
It's a tough one, isn't it?
you,
Mustaches just seem awkward.
you always like the idea of having a moustache, but then like I feel like I would have a moustache up until I got like a runny nose. Because
Just
the moment you get a runny nose, obviously it's all gonna get stuck in there.
yeah, or like even like eating food. You know when you like have like you've like one of those big bushy beards and just like stuff gets stuck. No, I think that must be a nightmare.
It does. It is funny with people who have giant beards and then they have to wear a mask because they got the beard. The mask can't go under their chin, so it's just like a face hugger from Alien on their face. We
Oh,
really don't want to talk about Arsenal. That's how bad they were.
it was just sort of they didn't really do anything. Nothing of
Yeah,
note that I can remember. I mean, this was about 6 days ago, but still, I can't remember any like. If I was an Arsenal fan, I can't remember any positive coming out of the game.
absolutely zero. And Gary Neville
Zilch.
had a lot to say about them, about how it looked like. I think he equated it to when Chelsea players historically would tell they'd given up on a manager. Like he made that comparison. We said there's a lot of players. I think he used the phrase "little mafia" to call out a few of them who just put in no effort. Like Pepe's on there, and he cost £72 million.
I think people forget about like just how much he cost.
Yeah,
Think
and
about that.
Aubameyang's now on 250 grand a week on his new contract.
Willian is making the same amount of money as United do weekly, I believe.
Willian, yeah, is sat there on a 3-year deal whilst being what 38 or whatever. And he just Odegaard, like people are about, oh, Martin Odegaard, Arsenal are going to want him for another season if Madrid aren't going to give him first team football. Why on earth would he want to stay?
I don't know. Do
And
you know what I
like
mean? I have no
Tom,
idea.
they can't even blame injuries because like Thomas Partey was on the pitch for once, like, and they were chasing him all summer, and you're looking at him and going, why?
Why did you even
And
bother?
we had
Why
this
do you still a
discussion.
club?
Yeah, we had this discussion a while ago where it's like there was never any hype around him until Arsenal wanted to sign him in the summer, and then
Yeah,
suddenly he was one of the best midfielders on the planet.
yeah.
And he's next to Ceballos, and they couldn't tie their own shoelaces. There's nothing going on there.
Danny Ceballos, Real Madrid player, and it's. I don't know. I don't know why it's not working as like it should. They've got very good footballers, but they just don't seem to do anything.
You do wonder why, like Martin Odegaard is a great player, but Smith Rowe was having a fantastic season until Odegaard came in. Why can't they both be on the same pitch at the same time? Why does Pepe have to start? I know, I'm sure the Arteta didn't buy Pepe, so it can't be the pressure of the price tag because he was an Emery
Yeah,
signing.
it was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Well, Pepe was the first player to dribble past Van Dijk in about a year and a half. And if that wasn't worth the 72 million, I don't know what was. I was at that game and I can still remember it happening. But what people seem to forget is that Van Dijk tracked back and won the ball back. It's not even like he actually dribbled past him.
Yeah. He's rubbish, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right. And then it comes to the Europa League, and they're playing Slavia Prague, who are having a great season in Europe and aren't pushovers. We're not trying to say that they are, but like they scored in the 86th minute and couldn't see out the game, and now go to an undefeated at home this season, Slavia Prague, at 1-1.
Yeah. Like Arsenal should not again we're talking about on paper and this paper is very outdated, but a team like Arsenal should not be struggling at home to Slavia Prague.
No, and like again, they're not pushovers, but you would expect them to be winning these games. And sometimes the Europa League does throw up funny results. It tends to happen most seasons, but yeah, they should be going out there and battering. And we had it with Granada. Like before the game, you're thinking we're just going to absolutely level them. Like, but then it's away. They're a decent La Liga side. Blah blah blah. But even still, like we didn't brush them aside, but we had 109 chances. Like,
And I think that's a fair estimate, yeah.
yeah, but Arsenal. I wish they were getting relegated, like it looked like they were going to.
I still can't believe for the life of me that Wenger had them in the Champions League for was it 22 consecutive years. He
Yeah,
missed he came fifth because Liverpool came fourth, Arsenal came fifth in 16-17, and he was hounded out of that club for finishing fifth on the final day of the season. Imagine that now. I'd say they take eighth at this
they're
rate.
not even going to get eighth. Like
I know. Wasn't it
they're
eighth they came last
miles
season?
off. Yeah, eighth they came last season because they only got into the Europa League because they won the FA Cup. Like, which is good, great for Arteta. Like he's got an FA Cup on his resume, but they're rooted in 10th. Like they are barely top half now.
Better than 15th.
Yeah, like it is, but still level on points with Leeds. I think at this point, Leeds who are newly promoted.
Yeah. And who either win or lose 5-0 every game.
They've like been a little bit more defensively solid lately. It's kind of got boring.
I missed the early Leeds. I remember one of the early shows. I did a review of Leeds versus Aston Villa, and it's still probably one of my favorite games I've watched all season. It was incredible. Paddy Bamford with a hat trick.
What?
Was Patrick? No, wait. Hat-trick Bamford. Sorry.
Oh, good. He got there in the end, guys.
And we're out of time this week.
But Liverpool, good win, and then comes the Champions League. So at the Bernabeu, obviously there's no actual shame in this result, but I think it's kind of the biggest victim of the night is Trent Alexander-Arnold because all week we'd had nothing but Gareth Southgate, despite winning all his internationals during the break, being crucified for not picking, as Klopp called, the best right back in the world across the last few seasons.
Which
But
I think that's a fair comment, to be fair. But I feel it was sort of blown out of proportion.
oh, massively out of proportion. I mean,
Trent drop. Carragher, it seems to be just doesn't shut up about it. And I love Jamie Carragher, but he's just
yeah, and
he.
then we had
Sorry,
the
go on.
Jack Grealish one as well. Jack Grealish, who now Dean Smith has said they might have rushed him back too soon because he's injured again. But
Oh no.
yeah, I mean, I think we were going to do a long bit on the international call-ups, but I think enough time's passed now. We can move on from it.
We're
But
over it.
he had a nightmare, Trent.
To be fair, I don't think he was the worst on the. Well, then again, that's not saying much because we were so bad on the night. But the only thing I'll save him with, I think you told me a stat, all right. He lost the ball so many times
13
in one.
times in the first half.
Which game was it? It was earlier this season, and he lost the ball like a record amount of times and a half, from what I remember.
Yeah, and there was the other one early in the season where he had, like, was it? I can't remember any crosses it was, but none of them
Yeah,
was successful.
yeah,
He's
I
not
remember
had a
that.
great season, and you can't like to. I guess to briefly touch on the international because it fits in. You can't moan because England pick names over form, and also moan when people are
Yeah,
picked on form
yeah, I
because they've
completely
got a
agree.
name. Like you can't have it both ways, especially when England could fill a squad with first team right backs at the moment. Literally, you can do it. like, and it's and you're still even when you get to like number 11, you're still not even picking bad players. Like you can get, I know Max Aarons plays in the Championship, but
Yeah.
he's still a good right back. He's been linked with Bayern Munich all season. like,
Oh, it must be nice to have, talented footballers playing for your international team.
Yeah, just to point out,
Can't relate.
none of them are Nico Williams.
He's Welsh, thankfully. Um, but before we discuss the match, I just want to say to Trent, not to Trent, about Trent.
Big fan.
Trent, if you're listening, he was involved in a moment where it was one of those Madrid had a 2-on-1 situation with Trent at furthest, with Trent being the furthest player back, and he sort of intercepted it and stopped what would have been a guaranteed goal, which would have been absolutely tie over. But at the same time, going forward and even defensively in the match as a whole, he wasn't great. But to be fair, I don't think many players in the night were great. I'd say Kabak and even Salah, I don't think was great, but he got the goal, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think it didn't. This wasn't Trent's fault. The problem was that Tony Kroos and Modric practically had half the pitch to themselves.
Yeah, I'll get on
And
that.
given that it's not fair to call them aging because like being
There,
early
to be
to mid
fair.
30s isn't what it used to be in football. Like there's plenty of players who are still playing top level
But it's
who
so
are
obvious. What you need to do is you just
they
need to
don't have legs. Like
parry
they
them, press them. Don't let them get their heads up. I know it's a
yeah, and then
cliche in football, but just get on top of them.
and they're there with Casemiro, who's never been the quickest player in the world. Again, he's a great passer with the ball and he's got a good engine, but you could still, as you said, press them.
Yeah.
But like I think the worst player on the night is the one who came off before half time.
Naby Keita. You see, I felt kind of bad for Naby Keita because I feel it could have been anyone who came off at that stage. I think they were all absolutely terrible up to that point. But if he's taken off a midfielder and bringing on, first of all, he probably should have just started Thiago. When you look at it, I was a bit surprised to see that Keita was starting in general. I saw the only thing I worried about when I saw the Jota and Keita were starting is I wanted Firmino to start with Thiago in midfield, keep it as it was because I thought it worked pretty well against Arsenal. And I thought Jota off the bench is more effective than Firmino off the bench, just regardless,
Yeah.
just by far. And I think Keita provides something off the bench, but he was starting Keita, and Keita hasn't played a lot of football lately. And obviously he's just coming off another massive injury. And it felt a bit weird. And I feel he could have hooked off any of the midfielders, but Fabinho is Fabinho. You're not taking off Fabinho. Wijnaldum was captain on the night, which bit of sour grapes with me on that one. But he's not going to take off the captain, so it kind of fell to Keita, and I felt so bad that he took him off like the 41st minute. Like just
Yeah.
wait till half time, surely.
I think he had to change something, and maybe it was to just get Thiago kind of. I don't know, because he's an ex-Barcelona boy going to the Bernabeu. Like he's already a guaranteed yellow card, but if you
or
throw
the
that,
or the academy.
if you throw that in the mix as well, so
Yeah.
But you can't. You're right. You can't take off Fabinho because then you're just opening up the midfield even more.
Yeah.
Fabinho's your stabilizer. He's your right. He can play. He's so good defensively. Wijnaldum
He's
adds
your Fred and
something.
McTominay, is what you're trying to say.
Jesus, don't insult the guy.
Fabi, I'm sorry, I love you. Please don't leave.
So I think it had to be. It had to be Naby, but Thiago. What does he add? Like it's so horrible to say. 'Cause
Aggression.
He's still in his first season at
Ruthless
Liverpool, but
aggression.
you were told that he was going to be this majestic passer of the ball. Everyone saw the one, by the way, the one example of a streaking diagonal ball, and it was the same one, just from different angles
Oh.
with like dubstep in the background on your Instagram. You go, oh, that's who Liverpool's buying, but like. I don't think he didn't change the game, and it was a bad night.
Yeah, and I mean, Real's like the 2 goals in the first half were almost identical. It was the exact same thing. It was just one long ball over the top, and the first one was just kind of exposing Nat Phillips. And I'm not gonna criticize Nat Phillips. I think he's been incredible since he's come in, and he should not be in a position where he's starting away at Real Madrid. You know what I mean? He doesn't.
I don't know
Not for
because
Liverpool.
he's not like. He's not 17, is he?
No.
He's what? He's
Add
23 or
20
something?
to that. Yeah, 23, 24. And again, this is a man whose only professional experience was a 6-month loan move to Stuttgart in
Yeah.
the first half of last season. Then he got recalled and then just played in the under-23s. So, like, he's played very little professional football.
Absolutely stolen a living.
Do you know his dad was? I mean, I just looked at his Wikipedia, if I'm being honest, but he looks like a Bolton Wanderers legend. He played like 300 games for Bolton,
What
and
a
he
guy.
started in the 1995 League Cup final, and he's been caretaker manager of Bolton like twice.
Yeah, so he's better than
But
Nat
to be fair,
Phillips,
I
as we
mean,
said.
to be fair, I could probably be caretaker boss at Bolton. They're not exactly.
Do they even exist?
They're in League. They're in League Two, aren't they? I think they got relegated from League One last season.
That was
But
sad when you like to completely derail the conversation. On FIFA 20, you still got like Berry and Bolton on there, and after they went under, they obviously took the sponsorships off the shirts like in the game, and just gave them like neutral shirts, and then they've just got regen players, like randomly generated players.
really, I
It's
didn't even know
so
that.
sad.
Oh, I
Yeah,
feel kind
they
of
don't have
bad.
the after like the updates. They don't have the actual squad because none of the squad were registered to them anymore.
That's a good point, I suppose.
But they
Actually,
still obviously they weren't going to fuck up the algorithm with the league or anything, so they just like
yeah.
so you can do like a save Berry in FIFA 20, but like
Technically, yeah, with the default teams.
yeah, it's just,
But yeah, I think I'll just wrap it up with we just nothing against Wijnaldum as captain because I understand he's when Liverpool players talk about him, it's Henderson, Milner, Van Dijk, and Wijnaldum are apparently the 4 like major captains. But Wijnaldum doesn't really strike me as like a leader. He's not gonna like stand up and like take the game by the scruff of the neck and like
also he's
charge.
leaving in like 3 months.
That's another thing I found a bit weird. Like surely Andy Robertson, like he's a character. He must be some sort of
Is he
leader.
Scotland captain?
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Like he captains his national side. I don't know if Ronaldo captains the Dutch side. I don't know if
I
anyone
think
does looking at their
I think
results.
Wijnaldum.
Jesus Christ.
I think Wijnaldum does. You know, for some
It might
reason.
it might explain why they lost to Turkey.
But yeah, so Cruz with one ball over the top. Vinicius's pace just left Nat Phillips in the dirt, I'm afraid. And it didn't really get too much better. People were saying, "Oh, we played much better in the second half." Real Madrid were 2-0 up. They
Yeah.
weren't attacking at the same thing, but like they literally from minute 1 they were all over us in the game. They had
Should
so
also
many
say
chances in
Real
50
Madrid, like
minutes.
not to kind of pour salt into the wounds, but Real Madrid in a similar situation, no Ramos, no
Yes.
Varane. They were starting Militao, who is awful, unless he's got a little bit better. I can't remember who was next to him. Was it Nacho Fernandez?
No,
Yeah,
show you.
who is a decent player, but again, he's backup. He's not starting, and he's
I think to be fair though,
sometimes he's
he
back
has
as well.
made something like 200 appearances for Real Madrid, so it's not like Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak coming in. He is an experienced defender at the club, But
Mm.
still, when you're missing Ramos, who, captains that side, and Varane, who's probably like what, top 5 centre backs in the world, it's it's quite a drop off. And the fact that we just didn't trouble Real Madrid pretty much at all in the
Yeah.
entire game is a bit alarming. And I'd say one of the few positives is the fact that a 2-0 win on Wednesday or whatever will get us through, because we do not deserve to still be in this second leg.
Yeah, yeah. You did get the away goal, and
Yeah.
our feelings on the away goal rule aside, it still gives you a chance.
I love it.
Getting away. You love it now, but like it's a terrible rule. It's so stupid, but you could do it. But yeah, this isn't. It's not the best Real Madrid side, obviously. Like it's aging, and they didn't invest at all in the summer, but it's still a good side. But if they've got no Varane, who has COVID, so wish him all the best. And
Actually,
Ramos
yes.
definitely isn't playing.
And can I just say, Varane tested positive the day of the match, and isn't it like a 13-14 day limit? So he shouldn't be playing in the second leg either.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. I don't know because it went from like 14 to 10, I think, for a bit. But I don't
Yeah,
know if that depends where you are or whatever. But yeah, he probably won't be playing. But
I hope so.
you could say, oh, it's a European night at Anfield, but
It's
nights
not.
at Anfield have not
Yeah.
been very good lately.
They have not. You've got a good point, actually. Yeah. I. But then again, I remember after we'd lost 3-0 to Barcelona at the Nou Camp, and we played incredible that night. That's probably one of the best European aways I've seen us play, and we just got very unlucky on the night. But even in that return game at Anfield, the 4-0 game, I had absolutely no hope that we were going to win that game.
You
Nothing.
definitely
Nothing in me.
still have hope. Like you beating this Real Madrid side 2-0
Yeah,
at
it's
Anfield, that's
yeah,
not unrealistic. If
yeah,
you
I
can
know.
get it's the classic cliche being like, oh, you get a goal early doors and it blows the game off. But look, one thing we should say, I think Vinicius was absolutely fantastic. So we don't just want to sit here and say it was all Liverpool's fault. Like Vinicius
Oh no, yeah,
looked
yeah.
unbelievable on the
And
night.
the opening, like, whatever, quarter of an hour, the opening 50 minutes, they were all over us. Everywhere on the pitch. We could not get a foot on the ball. Their possession was just incredible, and they were just creating so many chances. And it just sort of, I suppose it probably died down just because, they didn't have to push as hard as they needed to,
Now,
if you
when
know
you're
what I
2
mean.
nil up, you kind of
Yeah, just
you
drop off.
it's
But
not that your
if
job's done, but I guess
more or less.
anything after that is a bonus. And the point is like, okay, we're 2 nil up, let's not concede. And then they did, obviously. But them
Yeah.
getting third goal, maybe that will decide the tie because you are lacking goals. But there was one moment in the match in particular that I wanted to touch on, and we didn't even talk about the Mane. Was it a foul? Was it not? Like,
Yeah, there's no point getting into it, is it? It's
yeah.
over.
But have you seen the moment where Mane is running at the defenders? Salah is all on his own on the pitch, and Mane doesn't pass to him and just goes for himself.
See, off the top of my head, I feel like I can sort of remember that, but I couldn't tell you definitively.
The still images went all over. Like still images obviously can be misleading a little bit, but it was exactly what it looks like because Mane is running at the Real Madrid
I
defense.
I think
Salah
I think
pulls
I
away
yeah.
and he's onside. He's all on his own, and it's moments like that where you just go, that could be why you go out. Like,
Yeah, I think now that you mention it, I think I do sort of that does sort of ring a bell.
yeah. Before we get into, we'll probably do a little bit of United talk in a second, but there is one thing I want to touch on, and it segues quite nicely. You just said about how Real Madrid created loads of chances. This gets into a debate kind of quality over result a little bit, like the way you play. How much does that matter
Mm.
compared to what the result of the game is? This is from Alphonso Davies after Bayern had lost to PSG at home 3-2. He said, we had a lot of chances to win this game. The boys are very down right now, but we keep our heads high. We had 31 chances. Overall, we did well. And
Mm.
like again, it's the kind of thing Bayern always play really risky football, especially under Flick. They press super high and they had a lot of they did a lot of players, first team players missing. I think they had 6 people on the bench. Like that was it. And bear in mind, I think you're allowed 12 at the moment.
Yeah.
It's something like that. But they conceded 3 goals
At
at
home.
home for
Yeah.
starters. Yeah. So, and having 31 chances is great, but PSG had 6 shots and scored half of them. You had 31 and scored twice. Like,
Yeah,
did
I think
did
there's
they
a
actually
limit.
do well? Like, they played quote unquote good football.
Yes.
But if you're not scoring, are you actually playing good football?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. When you initially said performances over results, I thought you meant would you rather play risky football and win, I don't know, 75% of the time, or play turgid football and win
I
90% of
guess
the time?
I guess that's kind of like where it gets down to. That's where the debate ends up going, like, and that depends on what sort of fan you are. Like, I've always said the exact same thing, which is if we had 1% possession, 1 shot, and scored 1 goal and won 1-0, I wouldn't care because we won. Like, that's
There
the
we
sort of
sit.
fan
That's
I
when
am. I
Mourinho
just
was in
want,
charge, was it?
yeah, I just want United to win. I don't like. I'm not. A lot of United fans are quite down this week because we didn't play great football across the 2 games. I think the second half of Brighton, we actually did play better than people are letting on. But I don't care because we scored 4 goals, won both games, and we got 2 away goals with no reply in the Europa League, like quarterfinal. And I know it's the Europa League and we should be winning that, but guess the point is like, how would you want Liverpool to play? Do you always want Liverpool to play the high risk football, even if it leads to the results of this season?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if at the end of the season, you're sort of happy with how the team have finished, where you finish in the table, whether you've won something or not, I think I'd take like a one-off game. I think I'd be happy with playing better football. I like honestly, I think I'd rather finish say fourth and play like quote unquote beautiful football than come second and with like 35% possession, everyone behind the ball, break, have 2 shots in the game, score one of them, win 1-0. But but if it meant like winning the Premier League or winning trophies, playing horribly, I wouldn't care at all.
Yeah, because I guess the thing is, if Bayern go away to PSG now, do the exact same thing and lose again 3-2, like, is all this high risk, high pressing football actually worth it? Because they're already out of the cup in Germany. If that would mean they're going out of the Champions League, they are obviously winning the Bundesliga, goes without saying. But that would be 2 less trophies.
Yeah, which for Bayern Munich, I feel like I don't want to say you have to, but you almost feel like they should be winning the domestic double every season.
You do, and they went out to in the cup on penalties to a second division side. So like
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
they've had quite a bit of they've had a few injury problems this season. I don't think that's really an excuse for that. It's more like, I know we're getting into Bayern talk now, but like they're starting Choupo-Moting up front. There's just a lack of investment there more than anything.
I can't get over that.
Yeah,
How Eric Choupo-Moting's gone from PSG to Bayern Munich.
it's because they didn't want to
No,
spend any money in the
that's
summer.
fair. Then
But
again, he scored, didn't he? So what
he
do we
did
know?
score. But that's where he's got great players around him putting it on a plate for him. Like,
Do you remember his miss at PSG? Wasn't it like in and he like somehow stopped it on the line or something
yeah, it
stupid
was
like
like
that?
in. All you need to do was touch it, and he ended up like scraping it with the side of his foot and actually knocking it out for a for a goal kick. Like,
Fair play to Eric Choupo-Moting. If we could get his agent, representing us.
oh, we would be on like Radio 5 Live right now doing this.
Yeah.
Do you remember when for Portugal when Ronaldo was about to score like this beautiful long range chip and
Yes.
then Nani jumped up
Yes.
to head it in and he was
Oh,
offside?
if anyone hasn't seen it as well, it's against Spain, isn't it? It's Portugal against
Yeah.
Spain, and he's done like this beautiful skill Ronaldo, and he does like. Do you remember Di Maria's chip against Leicester? It's not like a Panenka. He's like dinked it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? He's
Yeah,
like
it's like a
dinked it over the keeper.
yeah, it's like a Cantona one kind of
Yeah,
thing.
or like a loop. I won't call it a chip, but like he's looped it. I
Yeah.
guess. I'm so sorry. It's me trying to go into detail, and it's basically on the line, and Nani, who's from an offside position, just nods it in when it's already going in. It's one of my favorite football
It's
clips,
hilarious. It's
because he gets so
unbelievable.
mad. He gets so mad, and it's just, it's nice.
It's beautiful. Like it's such
I really
a
like Cristiano
shit.
Ronaldo, but I love seeing him, pissed.
I love seeing him pissed. Also, it's just crazy how much he cares about everything. Like that's beautiful to see, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it is hilarious. Like
Oh,
the one
he's
against
incredible.
Serbia, that was ridiculous because it's
Yeah.
clearly over the line. And so obviously he got far too angry and has since kind of apologized for throwing the armband. But like
Yeah.
seeing someone that angry is really funny.
In a way, it's sort of what you want, isn't it? It's like when,
Oh, like the exact opposite is what we were just talking about with Arsenal. No one gives a
yeah,
like no one
like
cares.
in the week it came out that who was it? Was it Rudiger and Kepa were like had a bust up in training? And it's like I'd hope so. They conceded
They were
5 at home to
shocking.
West Bromwich Albion. If they're like, I'm not saying I want there to be fights, but like I'd want, I want people clashing heads. Well, not clashing heads because concussions
Yeah.
are very important in this day and age.
You do. We've had it a lot. Like, there's been loads of reports every time we're playing a bit badly that, like, oh, everyone had a big disagreement in the back. Like, all the papers fill it with United gossip. Everyone's furious. I'm like, good. You should be furious. We've lost to Sheffield United.
Oh, what a
Everyone
game!
is beating Sheffield United. Like,
Except for
oh,
Yi
what?
and Steve Bruce.
Yeah, except Steve Bruce.
Poor Steve.
Oh, Steve Bruce. How has he still got that job?
I No, I have no idea. I could not tell you.
But yeah, we'll do it before we get onto our silly bits. We'll do a bit of United catch up as well. But obviously we beat Brighton at the weekend. First half, Brighton were phenomenal. We were poor. I don't think like we weren't like absolutely abysmal, but Brighton were one step ahead of us the entire half. Got a good goal through obviously that guy Welbs. And it had to be. I even predicted it before the match.
Yes. I think we sort of mutually agreed it was going to be Lallana assist to Danny Welbeck.
I think
We're
that's what it
halfway.
was as well, wasn't it? No,
I
I can't remember who got
I
the
can't
assist now.
remember. Welbeck scored.
Yeah, they're the only two Brighton players I know. But
Yep.
the second half, like we kind of scrapped it out.
Mm.
Pretty much like Greenwood with a good goal, Rashford with a good goal, the academy boys like coming up trumps for us when everyone else looks a little bit off the pace. It's another 3 points. We are 11 points clear of fifth right now. I'm still nervous.
Even though if you don't
If
come
we beat
second,
Spurs this weekend, I will then be convinced we're top four.
we're going to win not the league, but we're going to qualify for the Champions League.
Well, we're going to win
Now
the
you're going to
Europa League, so
believe
we're
us.
going to do that anyway.
You
But
have to. Can I just say right now, if you don't
we
win that
have to win
Europa
the
League,
Europa League.
it's so poor. The team's
Like, yeah, there's big names left, and like we sit there, and it's like there's nobody left. There's Roma, there's Ajax, like
yeah,
huge clubs. It's just the teams when you look at them, you're kind of like, we
yeah,
should be battering these people.
going
And
through transitional phases really.
the win against Granada, like the 2-0 away win, was kind of it was kind of what I thought it was going to be because Granada are a half decent side. They're not a bad side. They play very attacking football, which they actually didn't in the first half. I think they were a little bit intimidated. They sat back way more than we were kind of told they were going to. We were told, oh, they're this great attacking side with a great attacking philosophy. But they did what everyone does against us, which is the low block and just kind of sit back.
I love that. I love when you hear stories and it's like, oh, this team is. I've watched a few games in this league this season, and they're incredible when they play. And then you rock up away from home and you just destroy them, and it's
Yeah.
like, what?
Like we should have had realistically, like Bruno had a couple of great chances. Like one of them was a fantastic opportunity, and the defender just gets this miraculous block in. You know, when they slow it down, it's like Bruno takes a shot, and then the defender's leg appears out of nowhere and just gets in the way of it. It was one of those. But yeah, we got the two goals. We got Rashford with a goal, and then Bruno Fernandez with a late penalty, obviously, and
Who else?
which should be tied down really. Like
Yeah,
I'm not saying play the under 21s in the second leg, but I would like we should walk that second leg at Old Trafford.
and
Like
also actually no one obviously knows, but interestingly, if Granada do knock out Manchester United, we have mutually agreed, the two co-hosts of this podcast, that Nathan has to buy a Granada jersey and has to wear it for the rest of the season that they remain in Europe. Does that make
I
sense?
will 100%. Like if
Every
they knock
show.
us out, I will buy a Granada jersey.
And
Like,
of course, me being, the football jersey connoisseur that I am, went onto my website. I know a guy, and I found a 2016-17 away kit with the name Andreas on the back, and I was like, Andreas for
oh,
Granada,
he did. He
and
went on loan there.
it's Andreas Pereira, your
It
favorite
is.
player.
Yeah, I kind of forget he exists at this point in
Is he
time.
still at the club, or did you sell him?
No, he's at Lazio on loan.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to buy him, but apparently we're getting Diego Dallo back next year from Milan because Milan don't want to pay for him. Like people saying, oh, they don't want to pay United's price tag, and he's just like, what on earth could that be?
Minus 10 million.
I know he's
Please
still
just take him.
young. He's like 22 or 23 still because we bought him when he was stupidly young. And Mourinho said like we just bought one of the best young fullbacks in Europe. And it's only because there aren't any.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep.
But
He's left back as well. He's left back, isn't he?
he's playing left back at
Yeah,
Milan.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think he even starts for him though, because I don't think he started the first leg against us. But I think he did start the second leg. But like, yeah, back to the actual point of this, I will be very, very disappointed if we don't reach the final.
Yeah.
Like, we have to reach the final. Finals, anything. It's funny you can say like, oh, the final, anything can really happen. It's a one-off game, but we should be winning this. There's
Yeah.
no bones about it. Like, there's no alternative.
I mean, when Arsenal are one of the biggest threats remaining in a competition,
When they draw
come
it
on.
home with fucking Slavia Prague, who can only presume a part-time.
Probably. Like, we were talking about Slavia Prague. I just in my head, I thought Sparta Prague. It's not even Sparta Prague, who are like not even like a massive club, but they're like the
Does
Czech.
Slavia Prague have a European trophy? Am
No,
I
that's
right saying that?
no
Is that
Steaua
Sparta?
Bucharest and
Oh,
Red Star
okay.
Belgrade are the two odd ones. Well, not odd,
Okay.
but the two sort of anomalies in the Champions League
Yeah. And
/
Chelsea.
European Cup.
London having a Champions League just seems weird.
The fact that like Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs, Arsenal and Chelsea between them only
Spurs
have
have at least
won
reached the final. Spurs have done
in the
as
last
well
15
as
years.
Arsenal in the Champions League.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? Like Vladimir Smitser has the same amount of Champions League final goals as Arsenal Football Club.
He has
Which is
more
something.
final goals in his career than Thierry Henry.
That's a good point.
It's just a fact that gets brought up every
Yeah.
week now. See Jamie Carragher sit there, like, not to rag on Carragher again. Did it. But I think to say Thierry Henry is the best striker the Premier League has ever had when the guy could not like hit a barn door in any finals.
To be fair, the one bit of
Jesse
slack.
Lingard scored in an FA Cup final.
Jesse Lingard in London is like, the +10 all attributes card on Ultimate Team. When he plays in London, he puts one of them on before each game.
Good God, what unbelievable! Like when I said before in the podcast before that the international break that Lingard probably shouldn't be in this international squad, and then he gets an assist and 2 seconds into his next England game. I did apologise publicly to him, but he has to be starting now. Fuck Phil Foden.
I'm so glad that I'm not Gareth Southgate because, well, just in general. Never mind what I'm about to say. No,
You wouldn't
joking.
want a £1 million a year job where you just have to pick
I
from
wouldn't
some
look
of
good
the
in a waistcoat.
best talents in Europe, or not in Europe, in the world, to lose tournaments with.
Like, I'm not like, well, obviously I'm not like the biggest England fan ever, but when in the 2018 World Cup, how he was the player at Euro 96 who missed the decisive penalty, wasn't he? That he was the England manager to win the first World Cup penalty shootout. I sort of felt like it was
a
a
bit of
nice
vindication
moment.
for him.
It was a very nice moment, I thought. But what are we talking about?
Jesse Lingard in London, we
Oh yeah.
somehow got there from
What are we talking about?
Thierry Henry not scoring in finals, and then I pointed
Yes.
out Jesse Lingard's won us an FA Cup, and he scored. Did he score in the Europa League? It was either Europa League or League Cup final. He also scored in.
Ooh, not off the top of my head, I can tell you.
Anyway, good on
Yeah.
you, Jesse. Keep going. Can't wait to see you back here. Apparently, everyone's been reporting that obviously West Ham won him permanently, and we're willing to sell. But apparently, we're trying to make it part of any Declan Rice deal. But
I
you
love
can't
that.
wait. United midfield next year. We just swap Fred for Declan Rice.
No transfer fee either. West
He's actually a
Ham
good player. Oh, that's
for
really
some reason.
horrible. Fred's not even a bad player. He just adds nothing.
So he's not a good player.
He is a good player, but you watch him and you're like, okay, he's quite quick. All right, he's got a half decent shot on him, even though he never scores. He can pass a ball. He reads the game pretty well. Why does he do nothing? It's like that thing of when people say, "Oh, Paul Scholes, he couldn't shoot, he couldn't tackle, blah blah blah, but he was the best player on the pitch." It's like that, but at the end you go, "So why is he here?"
Paul Scholes isn't he in the 100 Club as well? I think he is.
Fred.
No, Paul Scholes.
Oh,
Just wait, yeah, I've heard that before as
no
well.
idea.
Like, I'm pretty sure him and Giggs. I think him and Giggs there. But yeah, I
Oh,
don't know why they
Giggs
get
definitely
thrown
is.
at Paul Scholes. Yeah, although Giggs did play about 2,000 games.
It's
So
because Paul Scholes would always, instead of tackling, he would hack. Generally, he would he would just throw a foot in. But
or he'd just try
is
and
that era
punch
of
Xabi
football?
Alonso.
That's what everybody did back in the day. It's just like because you could do it without everyone throwing a massive hissy fit. Now, if Paul Scholes were playing now, he would be
The
red
game's
carded
gone.
every game.
The game's gone, Nathan. When you can't hack people down for no reason.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Speaking of bringing stuff back, Nathan. Moved on from last week's barnstorming segment of addressing the nation. I thought I'd make a Champions League themed. So for anyone who doesn't remember this segment, again, fair enough. This is where I tell Nathan and the audience just a story from the past it's just a bit bonkers.
Let's do it.
I'm definitely not cool enough to say the word bonkers. So this week,
Don't worry, no one is.
let's go. Dizzy Rascal pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah.
The year is 1992. Were you
Oh,
born?
I was born in 1992, but it would have been
Okay.
at the start of the 92-93 season.
Yeah, the topic is the Champions League first round tie, Leeds United versus Stuttgart.
Big game live.
Do you have any idea off the top of your head what this was?
I reckon it was the Champions League.
Well done.
Was it at Elland Road?
It's more the tie in general. There's something unique about the tie itself.
Did Leeds manage to not mess it up? And no, I've got no idea really what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, I'll read through it. So UEFA introduced a new competition in 1992 to replace the European Cup. Do you know what that is?
What the European Cup is?
They called it the Champions League.
More like
Genius.
Champions Leeds.
Good Lord. So the thing is, they called it the Champions League, even though they kept
Why would Leeds in there?
they kept the like the FA Cup knockout format where you draw two teams. It was still called the Champions League, and they were still doing that. I don't know why they bothered changing the name if they weren't going to introduce that up until then, but it didn't
mostly
become
for marketing reasons, wasn't it? Like they just thought it would sound cool. Then the European Cup, like when you see tonight Sky Sports, it's the European Cup. You'd be like, yeah. Maybe someone calls something the Champions League. You're like,
Yeah.
oh.
But for me, it's the fact that it's called the Champions League. It's a knockout competition. So why is it called the Champions League?
I think, yeah, it is stupid, and it's just a stupid group stages. I don't
At
like
the time.
group stages in things. Like, I think if you're going to a tournament, it should always be knockout.
Yeah, and then actually, I'd done a bit of digging, and the season after this isn't even the wacky story, Nathan. So the season after the 92-93 season, for 93-94, they introduced the first round was like the cup format again. Then for the final, 8 teams? Yeah, so there was 2 groups of 4 teams.
For God's sake.
They played each other. Then the top 2 from each group made it to the semi-finals. Where first plays fourth.
Makes me sick.
So complicated.
We did. They used to, the year we won the treble, it was still only first in the group go through. Like we only got through because we were. I think this is right. We were the highest second place on points. That was the only reason we got through the group stage.
Really, I never knew that.
Yeah, it used to be only. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's. I'm pretty sure that's why we got through because we didn't. I think we were in a group with Juventus, and Juventus won our group.
Mm.
I will double check that as Darragh tells his story.
I feel like I don't want to bring you down, but for some reason I feel like he played Bayern Munich in the group stages, and I've no idea why.
Maybe it was that instead of
I
Juventus.
think he knocked out Juventus, didn't he? Doesn't like Cole or York score away in Turin or something, or
Oh, that's
Roy
the
Keane
Roy
does as
Keane
well.
game. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
Anyways, I'll
Uh,
get into this. Sorry, we've really diverged.
okay, I found it already. It was only
Perfect. Go on.
right, so it was only first in the groups to go through, and then the first two highest points getters from second place. So us and Real Madrid. Yeah, Bayern Munich got 11 points. We got 10 points. And it was us and Real Madrid who got through as second place sides, but the rest of the second places didn't go through.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's a bit weird. I never knew that was a thing. But anyways, so this is back in the days when this is the early 90s. This is we're back to Leeds Stuttgart. If I can get your attention back, this is back when only the league champions from each of Europe's European leagues were allowed to enter the competition. So you had to win your domestic league to qualify. And English champions at the time, Leeds United, were back in the European Cup for the first time since 1975 after they'd lost the final to Bayern Munich, which was, we'll say controversial. But anyways, they were back facing German champions, funnily enough, when they drew Stuttgart. So the first leg was Stuttgart versus Leeds United. So Leeds United away on the 16th of September 1992. The first leg was played in Germany, with the sides deadlocked at 0-0 at half-time. In half an hour of madness, Leeds were 3-0 down to the German champions. With no away goals going into the second leg at Ellen Road, it was going to take something special for Leeds United to avoid elimination. I wonder what happened. I'm really drawing this out. So the second leg, 2 weeks later, Leeds United had a 3-goal deficit and had no away goals going into the second leg. On the night, they produced one of the great European performances with a 4-1 win, with goals on the night from Gary Speed, Gary McAllister, Gary Cantona, and Gary Chapman.
I wonder what your fact is on this.
Obviously, Eric Cantona, obviously. Weren't enough, as obviously Stuttgart managed to get the away goal, Nathan, didn't they? So Leeds United, they're eliminated. Gone. See you, Leeds. Go back to Yorkshire and enjoy whatever it is they do up. I don't know. I'm not from England. Drink tea, I guess.
I don't know what people do in Leeds. Literally, I don't know what you would do there.
Farm? Do people farm up in Yorkshire? I
don't know.
No, okay. Okay, we'll move on.
We're on YouTube now. I can't say anything too horrible.
Nothing that could get me arrested.
No,
Not
nothing
again.
that might get us taken down.
But anyways, so game over. Leeds are gone. See you, lads. Been nice knowing you. However, the day after the match, official news came through that the Stuttgart manager had made an error that broke Champions League rules, introducing Yugoslavian Jovo Simonic to the match for the final 8 minutes of play. Back in 1992-93, clubs were only allowed to field 3 foreign players in European matches.
I have heard this before.
Simonic's introduction from the bench had unknowingly taken Stuttgart to 4 on the night. So after an investigation into the match ended in a forfeit for Stuttgart, meaning a 3-0 win for Leeds United. And obviously, the match was then tied at 3-3 with no away. So Leeds United won 3-0 at home, technically. And obviously, it was after the match had taken place. So UEFA made a decision that there would be a playoff match to decide the tie, played at a neutral stadium, and the venue selection was a bit weird. So Nathan, German team, English team, it has to be a neutral venue. You're probably thinking somewhere in between, maybe Belgium, or maybe London, or maybe just at one of their homes, one of their home grounds. Do you know what the strange venue selection choice was?
I don't, to be honest with you. I don't off the top of my head, but it's UEFA. It's probably something stupid.
Qatar.
Is it just like Wembley?
Well, at least that would have made sense. The playoff leg of Stuttgart versus Leeds United took place 3 weeks later on the 9th of October 1992. It was decided that the Champions League playoff match was to be played at the home of Barcelona at the Nou Camp for absolutely no reason.
It was
So
just free. It was just free on the day, and Barcelona, as always, needed a bit of cash. So
that's a good
it's
point.
just like you can rent the venue for like 25 quid.
That's a very fair point. And in the what is the new camp? 100,000 capacity, something like that. 6,000 tickets
Yeah,
were sold for the
I was about to say,
match.
didn't did they limit it as well, or something weird like that?
I don't even know. It just says I was just reading news reports from the time. Only 6,000 tickets were sold for the match.
It must
So
have
it
been
wasn't.
real last minute though.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just jump onto like Skyscanner and find a cheap flight in 1992. People had to plan shit.
Get on to teletext or CFAX, whatever that thing was called.
Book a flight through Seafax.
And yeah, the match went on. The match entered the final 15 minutes with the sides tied once again at 1-0. And then the unexpected hero of the night was substitute for Leeds United, Carol's Schutt, who replaced an underwhelming Eric Cantona, who was only about 2 months off moving to Old Trafford, actually, funny enough. So Leeds United went through on the night, winning 2-1 and qualifying for the next round of the competition. And funny enough, Leeds United were the English champions at the time. This was I say technically the only game Leeds United won away from home in the entire season, as they finished 17th in the Premier League. So, they're the worst champions of the Premier League era. Done. Well, just doesn't matter how the season goes.
Technically, although they're not. It's not Premier League. It wasn't Premier League.
Well, they were competing in the Premier League, but they had won the first division. And they ended up going out in the next round to Scottish champions Rangers, losing 2-1 home and away. So an underwhelming season for Leeds United.
Losers. Absolute losers. I wonder if they'll ever make it to Europe.
They might get maybe one season of Europa under Bielsa, and they'll get to a quarter final, and that Leeds United team will be the streets won't forget. And you're like, they were okay. They were grand. They weren't anything special. Do you know what I mean?
I love it when they do the streets don't forget with that Southampton side. It's like the streets won't forget. Like, they did nothing.
They finished sixth, which is all right, but they didn't get close to winning anything. And it's not even like they were that close to getting Champions League football.
Streets won't forget this West Ham side. Isn't it weird that Jesse Lingard might be the best West Ham player since Pyatt?
Ever. Since Pyatt, oh yeah.
Since Christian Daly.
I won't let you say a bad thing about Christian Daly. He was a serious competitor.
Right, before we ride off into the podcasting sunset, Inter Milan are 11 points clear, I think, at the top of Serie A now.
I didn't even know
Ashley
that.
Young is so close.
Come on, Ash.
Ashley Young, Matteo Darmian, Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez,
Eric Jemba.
Morgan Schneider.
Sorry, I thought we were just naming
They're so close to winning a league title.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
I like it. Like it in a way.
I kind of do. I kind of find it a bit I don't know. I wish Ashley Young well. I wish Lukaku well.
Yeah.
Darmian, I don't care about. Sanchez, I really don't care about.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You see players leave your club, and they do, even if they win a domestic cup, I'll sort of go yeah, go on.
Well, there's that weird thing that I told you that did turn out to be true, luckily. That Romelu Lukaku hasn't won a trophy since his Anderlecht days.
Yeah, which was so weird because I just always presumed he was in that Chelsea team that won the Champions League final, but he wasn't.
No. And then he was on loan at West Brom.
Yeah, so he missed out on the
Everton.
Europa League, and he missed the decisive penalty in the 2013 UEFA Super Cup against Atleti. And then Mourinho blamed him purely for the Chelsea team losing the final.
Sold him to Everton immediately.
That poor man. Oh, what fate must befall me, Jose.
But here we've got a good week of football coming up. Is there Champions League next week?
There is, yeah. We're playing Wednesday night.
A week off. Okay.
So who's playing? So City and Dortmund and PSG Bayern is Tuesday night. Then Chelsea, Porto, Liverpool, Real Wednesday night.
And then the big game, Man United
Oh,
v Granada.
already
First thing.
discussed the big game, lad. Don't worry about it. Already talked about it.
Oh well, have you got anything else to say this week?
Well, I wrap it up with a bit of trivia because why
Of
not?
course,
We
of
want
course.
to educate, we want to inform as well as entertain. Entertain. Sure, we'll go with it.
Have you seen Inter's new logo?
Ooh, I think I have, but off the top of my head, I can't remember it again.
It's
Let me
terrible.
Google it quickly.
Oh, it's real bad.
Milan. I spelled Milan wrong.
Inter Miami new logo.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It. God, it looks like I think I might say this off the top of my head, but it looks like Monterrey. Do you know the Mexican side, Monterrey? Sort of
yeah.
looks like that.
It looks like someone cool from the streets graffitied an Inter Milan logo onto a random wall.
Banksy.
Yeah, it was Banksy. Do
um.
you
So
remember
the bit of
when it's like that
sorry.
season when it's like that season when Everton had that weird new logo? Do you remember that one season they had it when it had like a yellow background and stuff?
See again, this is stuff I should know. Everton
Oh,
new logo.
it was a while ago. I think they only had it for a season.
Oh yes,
It's
yes.
terrible. This is
Yeah,
like when they still had Sylvan Distan and people like that.
yes. Yeah. Now that you mention, it, I do remember it, and it just looked. Yeah.
Like a
Why did they have
cartoon.
it? Yeah.
I think
Oh,
some
it's
kid
horrible.
drew it with a crayon and their parent had to convince them it was good.
They had to put it up on the fridge, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the chief executive's child drew
Oh,
it, I
that
think.
that just screams of sort of Bobby Martinez, doesn't it? That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the Bobby Martinez sort of era that ended great if you're not an Everton fan.
Anyway, you're about to give us some trivia.
Yeah.
I'll
I
try and
want
think of another logo.
I want to get out of here, Darragh, and that's fair enough, Nathan. So obviously, in 1997-98, UEFA for the first time allowed the runners-up of top European leagues to compete in the Champions League. UEFA's rationale was that the quality of its premier tournament increased by including more top teams rather than from big leagues rather than minnows. That was the phrasing from Wikipedia. That's not me trying to be wacky around them. I'm hoping that's not a direct quote from
It
UEFA.
has to, it's UEFA, it has to be. I'm just surprised it doesn't have just like you can just read someone just going just shrugging. It's like, we hate other countries.
Yeah. Oh, I looked that up and like I thought, okay, I have to put that in. Just the fact that that's on the Wikipedia of the Champions League. But the 2020, so obviously before that, only the champions of each like European league could qualify for the tournament. The 2020 Champions League final was the first time since the 1998 final, so before that rule came into play, that both finalists had won their domestic leagues the season prior. So Bayern versus PSG last year was the first time since Real Madrid versus Juventus won their respective leagues in 97-98.
Yeah,
That is
it's,
that is something.
it's mad, isn't it? When you
if
think about
if
it.
if you go through like all the Champions League finals, I was there doing it, and I'm thinking like, yeah, when if Liverpool got to a final, they didn't win it, and then you have like Real and Atleti, so obviously one of them hasn't won it. You have Dortmund, they obviously haven't won it. You have Chelsea and United in the finals, one of them hasn't, and it's just mental when you go back and you realize it's usually not the team who wins the league that ends up winning it.
It's just I think a lot of that comes down to like some sides when a side's like dominating the league, other sides like just kind of give up in the league a little bit and save it all
Yeah.
for the Champions League. Also, it's knockout. Like I know it's played across two legs. It's knockout football.
Mm.
Like really, anything can happen at times. You get crazy crap like Spurs reaching Champions League finals.
I still can't believe that.
So let's put cards on the table. We've not mentioned Pep this entire podcast, I don't think. Is he
Oh,
going to
well,
screw up the match against Dortmund? Yes or no?
he can't. Like, there's no way. There's no way he can. I
There's
can't.
so many ways that you
I mean,
could. He's going to play Kevin De Bruyne at wing back.
I just. The thing is, if you would have asked me this, like even like what 48 hours ago, I would have said Bayern Munich are definitely winning the Champions League. now for me it's a toss up between PSG and City, and I don't think anyone else can even win it.
The thing is, PSG, Bayern are going to have no Goretzka and no I can never remember, is it Sule or Sul, however you say his name,
Yeah,
in the next leg. To add on top of that, so they're going to have to play Boateng and Rico. I can't remember the midfielder's name now. Rico, I think, is midfield. They bought him in last summer. Who's a midfielder, and apparently they're going to play him at centre back.
Oh God, can not play David Alaba at centre back? Surely.
I don't think he cares.
That's a fair point.
I think they might do. I don't know if he's injured, but that's what everyone was saying. Kind of, it might be an overreaction. So they're going in there. They're going to have no one on the bench. But I think Pep, I want him to screw it up so badly. And still not reach a semi-final.
Yeah, I think it'd just be funny. Wouldn't it?
It would be stunning.
That's all that matters.
We'll revisit laughing at Pep next week after his City don't reach the semi-final again. As always, thank you very much for listening. You can find Project Dits and the rest of Project Dits affiliated podcasts at Project DITS. You can find me at Nathan Greenaway. All my podcasts, other podcasts are on there. Rogue Opinions at Rogue_Opinion. You can find my comedy scripted podcast, That Ain't Sport, at That Ain't Sport on Twitter. Darragh, have you got anything going on yet?
Funny enough, we've actually Plus Out of Time is, we're branching out. We're now on Instagram, which is very interesting. So make sure to follow us on Instagram at it's just Plus Out of Time, all one word, can't miss it.
We got that. We actually got the name.
Yeah, I was so surprised.
I thought it would have been like +_.
Yeah, so did I, and I was like,
ones.
Because it seems like a pretty it seems like something obvious that someone would have taken, but no.
What would be hilarious if it had just become free because someone was about to make a movie called Plus Added Time, and then we've stolen it. Because I don't see that's such an easy name. How is that free?
Al Pacino is just absolutely fuming with that.
We're about to get paid like $5,000 to give it up.
I will not give this up for any price. 6K. Okay, go on.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the football this weekend. Bye now.
Look.